You've probably noticed something. Some women walk into a room and instantly shift the energy. Nobody can explain why, but everyone feels it. It's not their looks, their status, or even what they say. It's something deeper, something darker, something you've been taught to tone down your whole life. But here's the thing, your dark feminine energy is not the villain they made it out to be. It's the part of you that's magnetic, mysterious, self-possessed, and unapologetically powerful. And if you've ever felt misunderstood, overlooked, or like you've been playing nice to make others comfortable, this is exactly why you feel stuck. Most women suppress this side of themselves because they're afraid of being called too much, intimidating, or selfish. But the truth is, harnessing your dark feminine energy is one of the fastest ways to command respect, attract high-quality relationships, and move through the world with insane confidence. Today, you're going to learn the real principles behind this energy, how to activate it, how to embody it, and how to use it to reshape your life. No fluff. No mystery. Just power. So let's not waste any more time. Principle 1. Emotional sovereignty. Studies show that the most magnetic people on the planet have one thing in common: they own their emotional world. Emotional sovereignty means you don't let other people's opinions, moods, or reactions dictate who you are or how you feel. While most people chase validation or approval, the woman rooted in her dark feminine energy is anchored. She doesn't beg, she doesn't bend, and she doesn't break just to be liked. Psychologically, this is powerful because humans are wired to follow those who seem internally steady. When you regulate your emotions instead of outsourcing that responsibility, people stop seeing you as someone who needs permission, and start seeing you as someone worth respecting. Think of Megan Fox. For years, she was criticized, misunderstood, and villainized, yet she stayed unapologetically herself. That emotional self-possession turned her into a cultural icon. Stop explaining yourself when you don't need to. Silence is a power move. When you feel triggered, pause for 10 seconds before reacting. Reactions reveal insecurity. Set one boundary this week without over-justifying it. Replace "Did I upset you?" with "I see you're upset. Let's talk when things are calmer." Practice holding eye contact for 2 to 3 seconds longer than comfortable. Once you've mastered emotional sovereignty, the next step is learning how to channel that inner stillness into your presence, because dark feminine energy is as much about how you show up as it is about what you feel. You're only one principle in, and if you're already having those little "damn, I needed to hear that" moments, make sure you hit subscribe. This channel is where you level up your psychology, your presence, and your standards, without sugarcoating. And tell me in the comments, which emotional habit are you breaking first? I'm curious what hit home for you. Principle 2. The power of deliberate silence. Research proves that people who speak less, but with intention, are naturally perceived as wiser, more powerful, and more mysterious. While most women are conditioned to over-explain, fill every silence, and constantly reassure others, the dark feminine woman does the complete opposite. She uses stillness as a strategy. She lets pauses breathe. She lets others reveal themselves. She doesn't rush to prove, defend, or justify. Psychologically, silence creates what experts call tension authority, the effect where people project depth, confidence, and competence onto someone who doesn't rush to speak. This works because your brain automatically assumes that someone who isn't scrambling for approval already has enough of it internally. That's why deliberate silence becomes magnetic. It forces others to lean in while you stay centered. Look at Angelina Jolie in interviews. She speaks slowly, intentionally, and rarely reveals more than she chooses. That curated silence is part of her iconic mystique. When someone asks a question, wait 1 full second before answering. It signals confidence, not hesitation. Replace nervous rambling with, "Let me think about that for a moment." Speak in shorter sentences. Clarity is more powerful than complexity. Don't rush to fill awkward silences, let the other person sit in them. Practice responding with a neutral expression before giving an emotional reaction. Once you've mastered the art of silence, the next layer of dark feminine energy is all about how you carry yourself, because presence is more than posture, it's psychology made visible. Principle 3. Controlled allure studies show that humans are drawn to contrast, meaning you become more magnetic when you balance softness with mystery. Controlled allure is not about being overtly sexy, it's about being selectively expressive. Most people think attractiveness comes from trying harder, but actually, it comes from revealing less and implying more. This is where dark feminine energy thrives. Psychologically, this works because the brain craves closure. When you give people small glimpses of your confidence, your style, your personality, but never the whole story, they become naturally more interested. You shift from easy to read to intriguingly unpredictable. And the truth is, a woman with controlled allure doesn't chase attention, she commands it simply by being intentional with what she shares. Think of Zoe Kravitz, minimal words, understated style, subtle facial expressions, yet her presence is electric. She embodies a quiet magnetism, and people can't help but lean in. Wear one statement piece, eyes, lips, jewelry, but keep everything else minimal. Slow your movements slightly, people perceive slower movements as more confident. Instead of smiling automatically, offer a soft, intentional smile. Lower your voice just a touch when making important statements. Don't overshare personal details, mystery is built through intentional omission. Once you understand how to curate your external energy, the next step is transforming your internal standards, because dark feminine energy isn't just about how you appear, but the rules you live by. Principle 4. Ruthless standards research shows that people treat you according to the standards you reinforce, not the ones you announce. Most women say they have high standards, but their actions tell a different story. They tolerate inconsistency. They justify poor behavior. They give second chances to people who didn't deserve the first. But a woman anchored in her dark feminine energy is different. She doesn't negotiate her worth. She doesn't beg for the bare minimum. And she never fears walking away. Psychologically, this is tied to something called value signaling. When you uphold strong personal standards, how you expect to be treated, the environments you allow, the relationships you invest in, people subconsciously categorize you as higher value. That's why ruthless standards aren't about arrogance, they're about self-protection and emotional discipline. Think of Rihanna. Her energy screams, "I know who I am, and I only accept what aligns." That unwavering self-respect is why she's admired worldwide. Set a minimum acceptable behavior for friendships, dating, and work, and enforce it. When someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time. Stop engaging in conversations that drain you. Silence is a boundary too. Distance yourself from anyone who makes you question your worth. Practice saying, "No, that doesn't work for me," without adding excuses or apologies. With ruthless standards shaping your world, there's one final piece that completes your dark feminine power, your ability to detach without losing your depth. Principle 5. Strategic detachment studies show that people are most drawn to those who balance emotional availability with emotional independence. Strategic detachment isn't about being cold or unfeeling, it's about not attaching your self-worth to outcomes, people, or external validation. While most people cling tighter when they want something, the dark feminine woman does the opposite. She observes, evaluates, and stays grounded in her own value. Psychologically, this taps into the uncertainty principle, the idea that people crave what they can't fully predict or control. When you're capable of loving deeply while remaining centered within yourself, you become unforgettable. You stop operating from fear, and you start operating from power. This is the kind of energy that makes people think about you long after you leave the room. Look at Anne Hathaway, warm, open, and expressive, yet never desperate for approval. She connects without clinging, which makes her effortlessly magnetic. When you feel yourself over-focusing on someone, redirect that energy into your goals. Practice observing your emotions instead of reacting to them. Create space before making decisions. Distance brings clarity. Don't chase closure, give yourself closure. Stop romanticizing potential and start evaluating patterns. Now that you understand all 5 principles, let's put everything together and lock in your transformation. So here's the final takeaway. Your dark feminine energy isn't about being cold, manipulative, or unapproachable. It's about owning the parts of you that were never meant to be small. Emotional sovereignty made you unshakable. Your feelings belong to you, not anyone else. Deliberate silence reminded you that presence is louder than noise. Controlled allure helped you become magnetic without trying. Ruthless standards protected your peace and elevated your value. Strategic detachment freed you from chasing people or outcomes. When you combine all 5, you become a woman who doesn't beg, rush, or convince. You influence through energy, not effort. And that's exactly what makes you unforgettable. If you made it all the way here, you're clearly one of the women who aren't afraid of their own power, so make sure you subscribe, because this channel is literally built for you. And drop a comment telling me which principle you're claiming from today's video. I read every single one, and I love seeing your glow up in real time. This was the MagneticHer. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any recommendations for my future videos, let me know in the comments. Until the next video, stay confident, smart, and glowing.